Zero Lichin in the Jimpa. Sanjay Shindu Mide Pruvaye, Dokananda Shila Chabrasho, Guru Rana Mandala Puzamika, Samudra Sabarana Samaya. Sanjay Manjay Sama, Oye Jita. Señor, duermo de paz, por lo
Yeah, so then again to train one mind properly according to the crucial practice of mind training, that it is always very important to generate bodhicitta, because the mm, Asanga in his kind of text, the Prachana Parnita, it says, Semje Panishan Juchi Yamba Kapachan. So mm, one need to kind of generate bodhicitta to attain complete enlightenment, to benefit all the parallel sentient beings, to be liberated from the uh, suffering of samsara and then cause of samsara, and then he wants to lead them to complete enlightenment, which is the ultimate happiness and ultimate fruition, that which we never ever have to reborn in samsara as an ordinary sentient being. So that way, giving rise to the right motivation or that right intention, and then one wish to and one wants to listen to this specific sadhana of Vajrakilaya, how to engage into kind of practice with the generation stage and completion stage according to the kind of text itself, so that through this practice itself one can purify one's obscuration and also accumulate wisdom, uh, that which help to kind of attain complete the realization. So um, so in that way, one have to train one's mind, not just only thinking, "Oh, I understand bodhicitta," or I try to give rise to bodhicitta, but like seriously, one at least even for a moment, one give rise to sense of that bodhicitta. It is a very powerful and also very beneficial, and it is also like almost like a wish fulfilling gem, the bodhicitta, as Acharya Shiva kind of explains in the bodhicitta. Similarly, where if we want to just experience great deal of joy, and if we want to benefit many other kind of beings. That how one wants to help and benefit one's kind of family and relatives and so forth. And also, if one wants to kind of end all sorts of kind of suffering, then the most powerful antidote or most powerful that like a medicine is kind of like a bodhicitta. So where Ajahn in his text says, "Sibi tumi jata shomdeji, sanjimi di sewan devatang, yamang jata chowan devetang, chanchu sanyi tato tang mija," which means if we want to end, kind of like all sorts of problems, suffering, misery, difficulties, including, kind of all sorts of, kind of sickness, like hundreds of those, problems, then one should not, just let it go of the bodhicitta, which means one must give rise to, bodhicitta. And also that oneself and all other like ones, families and relatives and so forth, if one wants to, kind of clear out all their suffering and problem and difficulties and so forth, then also one must have to, generate bodhicitta and then, kind of practice on it and train one's mind within the, kind of bodhicitta mind stream. And similarly, that if one wish to, kind of like a wants to have very good life, successful life and healthy life and prosperous and everything just, kind of almost like that one could be more fulfilled in one's, kind of lifetime and one's family and so forth, then also one must have to generate, kind of like a bodhicitta. Because because bodhicitta as the compassion is anyway kind of like a one needed in this relative life, and also to accumulate merit also need the compassion, and also to benefit other beings also need compassion, and within the kind of daily practice also, as mentioned yesterday, without just sincere and pure compassion, whatever sort of kind of daily practice one may do, it does not just become a real some practice. So if kind of lacking that kind of like a compassion, so compassion is needed. And then in finally, at the end of all this kind of practice, that as a result, without compassion, one could not obtain the what is called the Rupakaya or Form Kaya, which means the Rupakaya or Form Kaya, that how this, kind of after attaining complete enlightenment, Buddhahood, then that which is generating in form of see, I'm talking about compassion, so I get benefit. Otherwise, my bag is hanging in this space. Compassion, bodhicitta, kind of results are instant, immediately get benefit. So I don't know how much you are getting what I try to say. The compassion at the end, even you attain enlightenment, achieve that Buddhahood, if one does not have that compassion, just caring for all the sentient beings, then that Buddha, kind of like it dissolves into Dharmakaya, and that into the, kind of like a cessation of the, kind of emptiness, dissolve there, abide in Dharmakaya, and then do nothing. So if one have that compassion, that from very beginning oneself is kind of having the intention to benefit all sentient beings, because of that generating compassion and generating loving kindness. So at the end, these become very what's say like automatic or spontaneous, what is called spontaneous compassion or non-conceptual compassion, that which arrive. And because of that, the Dharmakaya, the Buddha doesn't have access to this to this samsara or samsaric being. We cannot just have direct perception of the Dharmakaya. Only what we could possible is similar to our level. So that is why with that non-conceptual compassion or instantaneous compassion, then from the Dharmakaya, then it manifests in form of kind of Sambhokaya. And then one of those kind of Sambhokaya is like Vajrakilaya, which is kind of like a wrathful aspect, that how it kind of appears, because one sees that there are beings, as I said yesterday, or in the text, how it is kind of explained, those beings who cannot be tamed peacefully and nicely, or kind of in a harmonious way, because they are very stubborn and very kind of negative, and then they don't want to try anything kind of like according to these kind of like good advice and good suggestion. So that is why then the deity also on purposely have to kind of display in form of the kind of wrathful kind of appearance. So that is one thing why we have Vajrakilaya wrathful form, and similarly within the 100 deity wrathful form, and most of the eight Heruga deities also kind of wrathful form, and so forth. That which is from the kind of Dharmakaya manifest into Sambhokaya. Then all the Sambhokaya, wrathful or peaceful deities, you know, peaceful deities, Sambhokaya form, like Vajrasattva, for example. Vajrasattva is the peaceful appearance of the Sambhokaya form, which can be kind of manifested in form of wrathful form, like also Vajrakilaya. So that is like Vajrasattva and so forth. All these Sambhogaya form deities, the ordinary sentient being does not have access. We cannot just kind of really relate with them or see or hear teachings. It is not possible, because the ordinary sentient beings, obscurations are much thicker, and karma is also very limited. So there is no possibility one could to have access. For example, in the Abhidhamma Kosh, that which says the ordinary sentient beings, our eyes that is seeing the form, and our ears hearing the sound, we could kind of see and hear that which is within our karmic level. That no possible we could kind of see or hear about the in the heaven, those there are form gods, realms, or desire god realms, that we don't have access. But the kind of gods in the desire god realm, such as like Brahma and Indra, and kind of all those gods, they have kind of the power, or their karma is better, that they can see us and they can hear us, and they can also come down on earth. For example, like when Buddha gave all those kind of teaching, then like about 80,000 of gods from the kind of heaven, they come down to hear kind of Buddha's teaching. Like that, they from the Sambhogaya then they manifest in form of what is called Nirmanakaya. Like Shakyamuni Buddha himself is a Nirmanakaya. and Guru Padma Sambhava is also a Nirmanakaya, and the Dagini Shuthoja is also kind of Nirmanakaya, and so forth. There are many other Nirmanakaya forms that which is kind of like a eminent, but it is not directly kind of like known as whose kind of the Nirmanakaya or whose manifestation. So in that way, the kind of the Nirmanakaya deities are that where we have that access. It's because of that the compassion that which have been generated uh, from the very beginning, and that which is developed on the path, and then ultimately attending Buddha, then the compassion which become like a non-conceptual compassion. As a Buddha, they don't have to think. They don't have to think, oh, there are sentient beings, or these sentient beings are suffering, they are wandering into this, samsara. Or I must have to, kind of benefit, I must have to, kind of help them. They don't have to think. That is why it is called non-conceptual compassion. And that compassion has developed so much of energy that it functions, kind of automatically to, kind of manifest into like all these, kind of Nirmanakaya Buddhas. So that is why from the very beginning, it is important to generate that compassion, which is the aspect of the, kind of bodhicitta. Mm. And if one develop that compassion in this lifetime also, it is almost like a wish fulfilling gem that you could, kind of obtain all whatever you wish because of the compassion. It is accumulating lots of merit, and when there is enough merit, then that is the actual cause of success in one this, kind of relative life, for happiness, for wealth, for success in one's life, and the healthy, and so forth. Even just one, ask for somebody help, or even just kind of to even heal certain kind of sickness. For all these, that compassion has that kind of like a power, or compassion has that energy, or compassion has that kind of like activating something very kind of positive. Because why that compassion is become so crucial and so important and so powerful is because that actual compassion is of our own primordial pure nature quality, that of Buddha nature, that Buddha nature which is within every single sentient being. And that same compassion also arises from the primordial wisdom. So that is why as we go through these kind of like practices of generation stage, mostly in our inner tantra, like in my yoga, yoga, yoga tantra. For all these deity practices, uh, that no matter just only Vajrakilaya, but any other practice, 100 deity practice, or 8 Heruga deity practice, or rest of any other deity practice, that for the uh, kind of like a major sadhana in the inner tantra, they are also explains about what is called Namsum, the three samadhis. So samadhi means concentration. Samadhi is a Sanskrit word which is explaining concentration, which means where you concentrate and engage into meditation. So that is kind of anyway very very important, because it is also part of the kind of like a inner tantra view. Mm. So those that which is saying this kind of interpret and teaching me thing, three things, and those three are three samadhi or three concentrations, as according to the kind of engaging into practice of generation of the deity. So any sort of deity practices we need to do, most of all our practices have that, including like a Lama Rinzinduba or in kind of Dagini Shatvaje or in kind of Vajrakilaya, and then of course with the 100 deities or Guya Karva Tantra of 100 deities. All these have these three samadhis. But here, according to the root or verses of the Vajrakilaya, that there are words of those kind of three samadhis. But here, the Vajrakilaya practice is what is called like kind of enlightened body mandala. So the Vajrakilaya deity itself is kind of like a visualized in form of the deity mandala. So in the other kind of extensive particular deity practice, then they have all this whole retinue and everything like the celestial palace and so forth. So, however, those three, that is the first samadhi is called suchness concentration. So suchness means the suchness of the absolute truth. Then suchness of absolute truth means kind of emptiness. Emptiness means that dharmakaya, and that dharmakaya means Buddha samanda batra. Buddha samanda no, Buddha samanda batri. Kundu sambo, the Buddha kundu sambo. That is emptiness, and that is emptiness is, as we have gone through yesterday, like the space, the very clear space, like in emptiness. In general, we say, "Oh, emptiness without any elaboration." So, which means in emptiness there is no form, there is no shape, there is no color, there is no sense objects, there is no senses, there is no mind and mental activity. So that is why that is how you kind of to understand some sense of kind of like emptiness. That is why in the Heart Sutra, where it is saying, there is no eye, no nose, no tongue, no taste, no kind of body, and no path, no kind of four noble truth to know that just consequences and so forth, where it is just almost kind of like negating. No, 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 no. Nothing almost kind of like existing. So, but then one may also very easy to confuse like a emptiness or means nothingness, because the example is also given like a the space. So here the if emptiness is nothingness, then it is elaborated, saying oh nothingness. There is word, there is a concept to think or nothing, like empty house or kind of empty place or empty car. So that is not the understanding of the true meaning of kind of emptiness. So that is why kind of it explained that the from the philosophical point of view, how that Nagarjuna and Chandrakirti and so forth, all these great Indian masters and including Tibetan masters like Longzhenpa and so forth, they have explained that without any elaboration, cannot be elaborated by words, by concepts, by thoughts, by substance, by characteristic, cannot be elaborated. Then that emptiness is somehow which is actually gone beyond our mental function. For such as in a way, it is gone beyond massively, where it's gone beyond these two extremes, extreme of atomism and extreme of nihilism. So it is not permanent and it is not even impermanent. So in our samsaric world, if it is, kind of like a permanent, we understand, what can be permanent and what is impermanent. All these phenomena are impermanent, and then permanent, something that which cannot change. But this emptiness is gone beyond these two, kind of extremes. That is why, according to mathemic, kind of middle part teaching, it is talking about the middle part. So middle means does not that between the, extreme of nihilism and extreme of eternalism, some between there. That is also, which means, kind of gone beyond. So to understand the emptiness nature is somehow very, very important. Uh, just if we really want to attain some liberation, or if we really want to gain some wisdom, and if we really want to purify this obscuration, like afflictive emotion or this ignorance, then one must have to know the emptiness properly, and then once one have a very clear image of the emptiness without elaboration, then one kind of have to meditate. One just meditate, and then from that meditation on the kind of emptiness, then they are just kind of like the second Kundalini thing. First is that the emptiness is the suchness. Mm. Then through that emptiness arise basically these two, which is called kind of like the appearances of the kind of clear light. So clear light means the luminous aspects of one's mind, and that luminous aspect of mind is that luminous aspect of the wisdom, that which arises. And at the same time, the where it arises is once you kind of like meditate on emptiness over and over and over, and then even one have some experience, not even realization, some experience about just kind of knowing, oh, all these phenomena, this whole complete existence of this planet or the universe, including oneself, one's kind of consciousness, and then everything is that where one could see as emptiness in nature, in their nature. If one see, then one know that how one's own mind is also emptiness in nature. Similar like that, one can also see, oh, all other sentient beings, their mind is also emptiness in nature. And all these phenomena are also in emptiness nature. Then the compassion arises because when you realize, kind of emptiness, experience or realize, through the meditation equipoise, means you are sitting in it. Then with that, you just see all these phenomena exactly like an illusion, exactly like a dream, exactly like a mirage, and exactly like a reflection of the moon in the water. So illusion means you can see, but it is not real at all. Uh, that you see your reflection of your face in the mirror, but whatever is appearing in the mirror is completely false. There is never ever existing tiniest bit of your face inside the mirror. So that is illusion. That is the unreal. That is kind of fake. So in the Western world also illusion means is not real. and is non-existent, like the dream. One have dream, but when you wake up, it's never ever, kind of like existed. So that once one have the realization of emptiness, then one perceive in that way. With that, how that one who have those experiences of the emptiness or realization of emptiness or the direct perception of the emptiness, all those kind of realized beings and so forth, they also can see that all these sentient beings, they also have that quality. But all the ordinary sentient beings, they never think that this is unreal, this is illusion, this is kind of untrue. Because they think, oh, this table is real, book is real, computer is real, my body is real, my feelings are real, my senses are real, and whatever it appears beautiful is also real, ugly also real, big also real, small also real, weather outside, hot is real, cold is real. So grasping, kind of like a clinging that this is all real. So all the problem is started because thinking this is real. So that what it is called ignorance. Just also have to know what is ignorance. The ignorance is kind of not in the relative sense because, for example, like all those educated people, kind of teachers and professors and kind of like a PhD holders that they are expert in so many relative fields, but they are completely ignorant about the kind of the absolute nature of phenomena. They are completely ignorant about what is going to happen after one dies. They don't know. They are completely ignorant about whole complete system of the law of karma. So that is what is called the ignorance. So that is why those who have that realization, then spontaneously or say like automatically generate that compassion to all those beings, thinking that oh, this is in real, these are nothing important, it is all like illusion. But these people thinking this is so real and grasping and clinging and fighting for it and fight and kill and all sorts of problems are kind of like starting. So that is how they again with the realization that how compassion kind of arise. So that what it is called kundu thinking that the all totally kind of manifesting of its appearance as luminous or the clear light or the awareness of our mind. This our mind has that, and together with that, then just this compassion arises. So that is for the beginning of this kind of daily practice, mostly this kind of three concentration, and then third one is what is called the kind of the breathing. That means the causal samadhi. So causal samadhi means no matter whatsoever phenomena are existing in the relative world, including the enlightenment, also must have to depend upon some sort of cause. Some sort of cause. Without that cause, then nothing would just kind of like happen. So even to kind of like even we kind of born as a human being, it also has its own specific cause and condition. So born as human being, main cause is our human consciousness, the mind, that which goes through cycle of birth and death, our consciousness. And then the condition is one is relative condition as kind of the father mother's kind of liquid, but it's a kind of like a Other more deeper aspect is one's karma. Whatever one has accumulated that karma in the past lifetime, because of that, where oneself is going to reborn, one may enter into that, kind of like a mother womb, or just or like a moisture, or kind of instantaneous birth, or so forth. So that way, everything depends upon one's cause and condition. Whatever we are experiencing in this life is all just somehow, kind of whole bunch of them is already cultivated, kind of seed in the past lifetime. And then this lifetime is become condition plus this lifetime also creating more, kind of seed. So it is all everything going into cycle. Whatever we do, everything is going to, kind of cycle. Even we die, there is no any other way just to go somewhere far away. There is no any other place within this universe. Must have to reborn somewhere here within these six realms. So it is all in cycles, in Tibetan saying korwa. Korwa means that it is circling, constant. So that English also have cyclic existence. Mm. So now for the deity, kind of then all the deities are mostly, kind of arise with the cause of seeds level. They should have a, kind of seeds level, and especially in the Vajrayana, like in Ma Yoga Tantra and Anu Yoga Tantra, that there is lots of explanation and very logical explanation that how we are, our consciousness and so forth. All everything is dependent of its own seeds level. Hmm. On the kind of sutra talking about karma, but here in the Vajrayana talking about those in the kind of seeds level. So that is why to visualize the deity like kind of peaceful deities mostly seeds level is and then some kind of like for Tara like kind of thumb seeds levels and so forth. So here in Vajrakilaya kind of visualization, then kind of arise where first one meditate on the emptiness, suchness. Second, then meditate on the kind of clear-eyed nature and the generating compassion. And then third, after that, kind of to be invoked. So here, like based on this daily practice, we ourselves just to kind of like a manifest means generate oneself in form of the deity. Then one just kind of like a concentrate on the sixth level, like kind of boom. So 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 according to that, uh, with the suchness, with the meditation on the emptiness, one first, as we have gone through during the empowerment, with kind of chanting mantra Om Sambhava Shuddha Om Sambhava Shuddha. That is in Sanskrit. That what it is saying. And all phenomena by their nature, everything is pure in emptiness nature. So that mantra, kind of explaining in that way. So we also, kind of visualize all everything dissolved into emptiness. Then from the emptiness, then instantaneously arise our, kind of deity's seed level, deity's nature, one consciousness in form of, whom. And then that whom, kind of like a, according to Vajrakilaya, kind of dark blue whom. And then this also, kind of more extensive Vajrakilaya practice, then also have the visualization of external, what is called the, the celestial palace. That that also goes through visualization of the kind of like empty space, and then the four elements that wind, and then fire, and then water, and then earth. All those kind of five elements visualization of their own specific colors, and then kind of shape, and then upon that, then according to the Vajrakilaya, visualize what is called uh, the kind of the triangle, triangle kind of like a celestial palace. That when we have this actual substance of the Vajrakilaya, that is the support, that where you see a triangle, in the center there is a hole, and on that we put that in the kind of substance Vajrakilaya. So that is kind of the whole thing is just try to visualize and symbolize the whole Vajrakilaya deity mandala. So in reality, then that kind of triangle, and which is kind of like also not so similar like that, which is like the almost filled with the whole space, triangle space. And then within that, in the center, then there kind of like the sunset, and then the kind of four intertwined kind of demon, and that which this all how it goes through visualization. Then upon that, once kind of a consciousness in form of whom, and then that from whom was it kind of radiant light. So this all going through process of visualizing, and the radiant light to 10 direction. So 10 direction means four cardinal direction and sub direction up and down. So that's what it is called 10 direction. So one send that light to the 10 direction. From the 10 direction, so it is like almost imagine you are in the center of the earth, and the center of the earth, where is the center of the space, center of the space, just hanging in this space. No anything all around you, no anything like in this space. And then this kind of triangle, and then just the home, and then in that kind of radiate the light to all those 10 directions. So from the 10 direction, making that offering of all sorts of offering to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and particular deity and so forth, and through that where one receives uh, all the blessing, accomplishment, empowerment, feel like one just received to that kind of the whom. And also what that light sent to kind of imagine of the sixth realm sentient being. All the six realm sentient being, moment that light touched them, they all also got purified, and then they experience the kind of like blessing and so forth. With that, when the light observes back to the whom, then it instantly arrives in form of kind of the particular deity, that according to this partner sadhana, that how particular deity kind of like appears with the three face and six arms and four kind of legs. So that we can go through the kind of the text itself, where where it is saying on page 35. So saying from whom. So the sixth level, whom. Then all mirrored objective appearance are the celestial palace. So that mirrored, kind of 3,000 mirrors of world means just kind of like a, just whatsoever existence in general in Buddhism, saying the one Nirmanakaya Buddha's kind of field is of 3,000 myriads of worlds. So it is not just like this only our earth. Mm. In this universe, there are 3,000 myriads of the world, which is about 100,000 worlds are existing. Mm. But we have only access in one. And the scientists also find to this only our Earth. And even though they find, kind of Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, kind of those things, and they are just part of planets. And these planets are, there is no any being. And now recently they are finding something different, kind of like a planet. So like this, our Earth, with the six realm uh, classes of beings that existing is, kind of like 100,000 within this universe, according to Buddhism. So that is what here is saying, kind of like a mirrors. Mirrors means, kind of like almost like uncountable, objective, kind of appearances, external, objective appearance of whatsoever it is are, here through that visualization with emptiness, compassion, and then whom everything just first transformed into the celestial palace as the kind of triangle, and then the kind of general grounds, and then surrounded with all the kind of lakes and so forth. That according to that celestial palace, that more elaborated, that they built the whole, kind of like a mandala. In the center, there is the Vajrakilaya, kind of the with the kind of like a male and female aspect to do with the consort, kind of real statue, and then in the 10 spokes, kind of 10 raffle with consort, and then four gates, and then sideways, all those there, kind of built with the real statue to kind of object to visualize. Then in the more contents, then do this, this the budget, the purba, with the purba, the principal deity purba, big one with face and everything, and then the others, kind of like also have those face, and then the bottom part is kind of like a triangle, very sharp, and that according to the visualization, then they place all the kind of the food by about 7, 8, kind of like those deity. In India, some of the monasteries, they have all those kind of deity mandala informed like that. So even one cannot have that much. Then where you see, sand mandala. Within the sand mandala, all the celestial palace, everything according to its kind of nature, color, and everything built. And then a part of the deity, they put to piles of kind of piles of the sand to symbolize principle deity, 10 direction deity, going forget deity, and so forth. And they kind of piled up, and that is the object of concentration to imagine about the kind of deity mandala. So once one learn all those and become more clear, then here, kind of it is easier. But this is according to the sharp level of mind. Within this, kind of practice, there are sharp level mind, medium level mind, and dull level mind. So for the dull level mind, need all this everything in detail explanation. And middle level, just like kind of the spokes, and with the got all those kilaya representing purva, and that is good enough. For the sharp level, then just only kind of only this much, and then one can kind of concentrate to kind of visualize. So, according to Vajrakilaya, this whatever we see right now is all instantly transformed and perceived as Vajrakilaya, the celestial palace. Mm. Like our house for the deity, it is called celestial palace. Then in that triangle, we say kind of sometimes Chunjung. means Dharma, Dharma, Dharma that in Sanskrit, but which is kind of like a triangle. Sometimes we make like this triangle. That which is also kind of like a very deep and wide. That even the 3,000 meters words also can fit in. Something like that triangle. That which is kind of like blue, black means dark blue in color, and that all the surrounding blending with kind of the eight channel grounds, and then blending with the wisdom fire. That all everything in form of kind of like a wisdom nature. Then saying, surrounded by eight channel grounds. So these are, kind of the outer, that celestial palace, that which is supports the internal, the deity visualization grounds. Is an essence of blessing primordial wisdom fire. So then that is surrounded by, kind of fire. That fire is of the, kind of wisdom fire. So wisdom fire, we could not visualize wisdom fire. We could not experience wisdom fire. If there is a wisdom fire, then that fire will not burn your finger because it is wisdom. And this is relative fire is how we think relative fire is hot and it can burn things. And with that concept and with that projection, then it looks like kind of burning your kind of like a finger or anything. Mm. So it is blazing with the just fire. Saying expanse means kind of very wide and very deep, that which can fit in the whole kind of like a universe. So this is all everything start with the understanding and experiencing and realization of emptiness. That is why I had to elaborate to explain bit on the kind of emptiness. So for that, kind of you can read some of these, kind of like text, like a Chandrakirti's text on the sixth chapter, and then Acharya there was kind of text on the ninth chapter, and then Acharya Shanda Rakshita, Shanda Rakshita, Madhyamika Alankara, that there are very extensive explanations with using logical reasonings to establish everything into kind of emptiness nature. Then it is kind of like easier. Then after that, then saying the celestial palace is made of one's own wisdom appearance. Mm. So since in the absolute sense there is no anything ever existing as something concrete, solid, true existence of kind of like a deities kind of house, like celestial palace. Nothing is truly existing. It is all everything because of one's kind of primordial wisdom. That what it's saying, one's own. Whoever that kind of practitioners through that one's realization of emptiness, and from that kind of wisdom aspect, and then in this whole celestial palace kind of like appearance that happens. And then within that kind of celestial palace, then there in its center are a lotus. So in the center, for the first kind of like a main principal deity, then there are also kind of sprout out a lotus. Upon that lotus, then there is sun and moon. So lotus is a symbolizing of kind of compassion that which kind of like arise. Always it is just kind of very pure and very fragrant and very soft and very nice and that the compassion, what that is, the lotus is such a kind of flower that everybody likes. So how we see in the relative world about the kind of like a lotus flower, that is then example of that compassion. Whoever give rise to compassion, it is very nice and very soft and pleasant, and people like it and one enjoy, and it has the frequency of being very kind. Mm. So that is what is symbolizing the kind of like a lotus. So lotus is not just only that which is grown in the pond, only thinking about that. This here it is the example about the compassion. And then upon that there is the what is saying sun, sun and moon. So within the sky, the highest planet ever existing is sun and moon. So that nobody can really sit over the sun and moon. Only that here, why the deities have that sun seed and moon seed, mostly wrathful deities should not have sun. And all the beautiful deities don't have sun, they only have moon because they don't, the deities, beautiful deities, they don't want to burn. They want to feel cool, moon seed. And the wrathful deities, they want to burn, they want to become like fierce. So they also have sun seed. So which means that they are above within this whole existence of this our earth, that they have that much power and that much of quality, that much of wisdom, that even on the sun and moon. That is what it is kind of symbolizing. So that many people think why there is sun and moon, why they don't use a very nice cushion. That is this big, famous company, they make very, very nice soft, cushion. Why they don't sit on that, sofa seat? They don't need that one because they don't have a very heavy, big, substantial body. Because their body is wisdom is very light. They don't need, kind of very strong, thing. Even lotus also can, kind of sit on it. Lotus will not crack or not bend. Even like for example, like a Milarepa and Patamba Sanje, there is also a story about, Patamba Sanje is Indian Masita, Milarepa is Tibetan Masita. Then they, kind of really, they, appreciate each other, they respect each other, they really want to see each other. Then somehow they make, kind of like appointment, like in the Western world, make appointment where we will see. But they don't have this cell phone, no telephone, no text message, no any WeChat or anything, but mind transmission. And when they meet, so they have all this kind of practice, and then they say, now we will have competition. You are Indian, great master. I'm, from Tibet. See who can sit on one this grass, one single grass on it, sit cross-legged and see who can sit better. And then they both, kind of just on a single grass, they sit in that meditation. But Miller apples, kind of bend little bit. So that Miller apple, kind of the physical form. But with all those realization, including the practice of, kind of the what in the, kind of here, as I explained that, kind of the practice of bodhicitta, which is of concentrating on the, channels and vital energy and essential of, especially vital energy, holding that vital energy, your body becomes just very light, very light. So, they are both equally very great, but Miller have been little bit, then kind of that. Oh, I know, because Patamba Sanjay, you are from the land of Arya, means in India, just so many of those, including Buddha and all the realized beings, and because of that, the whole place is also blessed. So you receive that blessing of those holy place. That is why your is state and my Tibet is still a little bit. So like that, the wisdom body that which can sit on kind of on these kind of like seeds, lotus and so forth. So that is in human life, as an example, that if we also kind of really practice properly, all those things are kind of possible. But these days, kind of especially degenerative period of time, there is almost nobody so much completely dedicated their rest of their life into kind of practice. So if we don't do practice, then of course one cannot have this result. Mm. So that is why the practices are anyway very important. So on the lotus and sun and moon, and then four intertwined demons. So four intertwined demons are symbolizing the called four kind of demons or four negative forces. One is four demon is what is called kind of like a this Nyamombedu, Chidagudu, Pungudu, Hoigudu, this four demons. So this is because of these four demons that they eat us and we could not experience freedom or depression. So these four demons are not anything else other than what we are in the samsara. So one demon is afflictive motion. Mm. So if one knows that all the afflictive motion is demon, then it is to be kind of like scared and try to stay away. It's not to embrace that. So this what taught in the sutra by Buddha, and also Buddha explained to the devil also in that way. And then the second is the demon is or this aggregate. As long as we have this form, feeling, perception, formation, and then consciousness, that how much we are attached, how much we are having grasping, clinging on this form, and that based on that, on the we this I and the ego, and then kind of very strong, just clinging on it, just as identify or me, I, something very important. And that is the problem of all sentient beings. No matter whatever religion or faith or culture or tradition or whatever they may have, but the real source of suffering of all this being is just kind of something like that, which is explained in the kind of sutra very very clearly, and Abhidhamma Sutra or the Abhidhamma Kosh and so forth explain that. So five aggregate actually is like a demon. Then the other third demon is what is called the death. So that is really like a demon. When you die, then you are eaten by that. Then we lose this life where we want to be with kind of this life, with the family, with kind of relatives, and with this kind of how one wants to enjoy in this kind of life. But then when the demon of death comes suddenly, like kind of thunderbolt, that is why where it is a life is uncertain. So death is uncertain, and that never gives any kind of notice at all to anybody. So that is one of those kind of demons. And then the fourth is what is called Haibudu, which means it's all kind of numbing, means kind of distraction. Now in this modern world, kind of when we look into this, that there are million things are created for distracting our mind. About kind of like even 100 years before, so many of these distractions are not existing. So everybody have much more time to concentrate into these practices. Even in a relative sense, they have time for families to talk and enjoy and sit together, eat together. Now this modern world, like iPhone and iPad and computers, and people just become stuck with it, and they got so distracted, and that way doesn't have any time to do kind of this practice, and that is very realistic that everybody knows. Even many of the spiritual of the different religions, spiritual masters or spiritual heads of different religion, they all also complain. And that is why now even the parents also realize, oh, they should not just introduce this kind of this kind of distracting kind of like game to kind of people, just how much you just watch a game and how much time is kind of like wasted, and at the end achieve nothing, real emptiness, real emptiness. So that kind of like that, how much kind of distraction is there in the world, and then we think we are enjoying, but in reality we are not getting anything. So those kind of like those kind of demonic forces are kind of assembled here in the Vajrakilaya, before intertwined to do that kind of like a subdue, means not get distracted, not being under the control of these kind of demons. So then is sun, moon, and demon upon them. Then now just oneself to be kind of generated in form of the kind of deity. Upon them, then there is a blue, black moon, radiant and resort. So that what I explained earlier, the seeds level. So earlier those are the suchness, samadhi, and then the total manifestation of appearance and compassion of those sadhana down, what the samadhi, and then now coming to the what is called the causal samadhi, or the seed samadhi, that kind of hum, and so that hum, blue, black, dark blue in a color, and radiance and resolve. So that so these are going through all the process of visualizing by oneself to visualize. So in one thing, maybe just I thought it. So let me explain. Otherwise, later I may forget. So why we have to go through whole complete visualization of this external, kind of the celestial palace, like all those, and then the internal, kind of deity, starting with the, kind of home sixth level and whole complete, kind of form of the deity. It's because that, the thing is, according to the, highest view of kind of inner tantra, where you hear and where most of all the teachers explain according to the kind of tantra, that saying in in a, in a absolute reality everything is pure, everything is pure, just as it is, as like kind of like a Buddha feels, like celestial palaces, and like a male and female, all these kind of deities. Even though relatively we say male and female, but there is no real, truly existing kind of real male form and female form. So part of which also the explanation will come later. However, that this anyway, this samsara, external world, internal living being, and our house and so forth. So how much we work hard and how much we try to collect and how much we accumulate and how much we educate and how much we do and how much we have all this attachment, grasping, clinging, including how much hatred and anger and all those whatsoever it is happening. So whatever that existing here and whatever we're experiencing here is not really satisfying that what we want and what we wish. If we want always very peaceful, always happy, and always perfect, and always very nice. We don't want to end up sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes so much suffering, sometimes kind of so much of kind of problem. Everybody wish that like almost like eternity peace and happiness. But while we are just in this world, it's never ever going to have that eternity peace. Never ever. So that is why, according to the Vajrakilaya, in relation with the Mahayoga Tantra, in relation with the generation and completion stage of the daily practices, and then to kind of specify and to get rid of all these samsaric kind of existence and experiences and everything whatsoever it is projected by our samsaric mind, that to kind of completely transformed by the pure nature of the kind of daily field. That what it is called Tenzun Jimbo, kind of like the where it is saying, kind of the this is five aggregates are five male Buddha. Five the elements are five female Buddha, and then our that eight senses are kind of aspect of male Bodhisattva. Eight sense objects are the nature of the female Bodhisattva. And then our limbs are kind of like a wrathful deity. So that what it is explained in all the inner tantric kind of teaching, including this kind of great perfection, the Dzogchen. It explains that saying that is our primordial pure nature, that is the absolute truth, and that is the absolute reality. But we are not experiencing and we are not in that state of mind because we just got deluded, confused, and then we experiencing in a kind of different, completely a different world, which is of Disneyland, which is like kind of dreamland, which is like a matrix world, no any reality. But one got so obsessed with the confusion and the kind of, like a wrong habitual tendency, how everything perceived like a real. So this is whole complete is a, kind of like a, actually it is like a kind of fake, which is not our own true nature. So that is why just to kind of purify this and to transcend from this external kind of phenomena, internal living being, everything to its kind of primordial pure nature, then this like a deity, according to the Vajrayana, that the deity visualization of celestial palace, the external in form of kind of the deities, kind of pure palaces, and internal living being, one all being visualized in form of the deities, that wisdom, kind of deities nature, wisdom body. So that what it is, kind of like explaining here. So with that, once one kind of like go through all this practice over and over and over, then the samsaric, all the samsaric habitual tendency and samsaric mental projections and samsaric kind of perception, all everything just transforms into kind of pure nature of the deity, the enlightened mind projection, enlightened mind perception, that where it establishes everything pure. And that is a kind of like a very effective and fastest that which is explained according to the kind of like a Vajrakilaya, that which is also possible. Like in the past, all these great realized masters, they do kind of experience as they engage into these practices. They just actualize. Even like recently, even in Tibet, that some master just when they pass away, this whole body, everything kind of dissolved into kind of like a rainbow body. And some, as they engage into such practices, their body, kind of like a, after the death, their body shrink down almost like a death man. And some even kind of shrink down much smaller. Some even they don't shrink down because they have practiced all this in their skull cup appear all those deity form. In their bones, appear all those mantra that when they did the cremation, then in their bones, leg bones, or any bone that not burned inside there, all these mantras in the skull cup, kind of all this deity image. Some even 100 deity image, some 80 Haruka deity image, some like one's own meditation on deity image that in the bone spontaneously kind of imprint or just come out because one engage into this kind of visualization over and over and over and over. It started just kind of like a decomposing this samsaric karmic body, bone, flesh, blood, and everything it started transforming into the deity's nature that it got to so powerful that the brains or the skull cup inside all those deity images just happen. These are, even many, what say, masters that recently even they discover and the many of scientists, they were also become very curious, maybe they think, oh, this maybe somebody curved out or maybe somebody did something, mechanical or technology, but they examined that they didn't see anything, it's what is kind of like happening. These are what how it really gets through, kind of like experiences and realization of the practice through these, kind of like a daily. Then again, this radiant and the reabsorption, as I explained, from the room, radiant light to all direction, making offering to all the sisters and both abroad, receiving all the blessing, empowerment, everything. And this all by mind, if one do it over and over and over, then after some time one can just truly receive all those, kind of like a blessing. And also part of the, kind of like a compassion of that, bodhicitta, one, kind of send this light to all six realms. And that is six realms of sentient being is not just only this present our earth. As explained earlier, the 3,000 myriads of the world. So that is what the number is was immeasurable, uncountable beings just existing. To all those, part of your practice of a compassion to end their suffering, and then kind of you imagine that light and receive you all those, and they all kind of transform into kind of enlightened beings. So this once we do seriously, and one's mind with the visualization, concentration, and with receiving those blessings when it works, then kind of really transformed, kind of in its kind of pure nature, even though it may take time, according to this, about 3 lifetimes, most sharpest level mind is in one lifetime. But at least kind of few lifetimes you can be kind of liberated and actualized in that way. Then from which is self nature. After that, once self nature arrives at the unfabricated perfect presence. So here unfabricated, so that oneself. So many of these, kind of like a social meditation practice, it always, explain not to contrive or not to fabricate, because as we fabricate, correct, then it is activity of our mind. How our minds are, creating, try to think something. So here, self-arising, kind of self-arising here is one meaning is that this one, kind of body itself is arising in form of deity. Then the second self arising is what is as one's own primordial pure nature self is the deity. Mm. One's own primordial pure nature itself is deity, and that self is arising. Uh, and that self, what is arising as deity, is unfabricated, uncontracted. Because that is what your kind of true nature. Uh, so, and that the appearance of that, like here, kind of Vajrakilaya, is the, kind of like enlightened who means enlightened kaya, enlightened form. Means enlightened form means it's wisdom form. There is no, kind of flesh, bone, the blood like this, not like our body. It is kind of non substantial. There is no any like those substance. So as long as if there is bone, flesh, blood, then there is samsaric consciousness, and then there is problem because it is compounded composition of kind of all those kind of like a subject substantial. So that is why then we have pain, then we have sickness, then we have old age because that is important. Our body is important. Every single moment we are getting just getting older. Process of movement of change is instantly kind of happening, and every single second, minute, and hours, and days, and weeks, and months, and years are gone. We are getting close to not to liberation. We are getting close to death. Nothing else. No matter however we live, happily or suffering or with wealth, with no wealth, whatever we do, become very famous or not famous, whatever. Every second we are getting close to death. We are not going anywhere. And then die is okay. Again we born. That is very boring. Just die again, born, die, and born, die, and born, go through again, and do every time do something, never achieve anything. So it's really boring. But I don't know these samsaric people, they never get bored with this samsara. They always expecting something. Always just kind of looking, or maybe the next day is better, and next year is better, and next year maybe better, and just hoping. In one way, it is good to be more optimistic. But when you look in the kind of like a long run and look thoroughly into it, then there is no much essence. That is why in the one was saying the samsara is essence left. There is no true essence that one can get through other than like this kind of practice. So that is why instead of this kind of form, then transform into kind of like a deity's kind of wisdom form, and that perfected present, yeah, unfabricated perfect presence of the kind of like enlightened body. So that enlightened body or kind of the deity, what it is arising is the Vajrakilaya, the great glorious Dorje Shunu Vajrakilaya. So Dorje, is a Tibetan word, in Sanskrit what is called Vajra. So Vajra have kind of relatively kind of three meaning. One Vajra is that kind of like a indestructible. And then the other Vajra, kind of torche means torche palm in Tibetan torche palm, diamond, very powerful substance. And then the other relatively torche is where we use with the bell and then the Vajra. Mm. So the ultimate meaning here is, kind of Dorje is indestructible nature. So which means something that which is indestructible in nature means it is uncompounded. Mm. Uncompounded means no assemblage of cause and condition. So something which is kind of production of assemblage of cause and condition is subject to change. That is the nature of phenomena. And anything whatsoever it is arising out of assemblage of cause and condition in the relative world, that in Buddhism, what Buddha has taught is what is called interdependent origination. Nothing else. All everything interdependently. So anything that whatsoever it is arising with the kind of assemblage of cause and condition as interdependent origination means it is emptiness. It is emptiness. So the other way of understanding about the emptiness is, like through this, interdependent origination. That is why Nagarjuna and Chandrakit, they also use the interdependent origination as a kind of logical reasoning to establish all the phenomena are kind of like emptiness. So that is why Nagarjuna also says, 밴드 당에 동에서 우멜론도 던지고 긍정 순범해봐 동안잘 사. So saying them to interdependent origination are same meaning according to the kind of explanation of kind of the middle part. So that's also supreme explanation. The kind of very sharp understanding that how it has been taught is where kind of the supreme teachings of Buddha. So that's why kind of Nagarjuna also kind of like see that kind of like view and quality and wants to pay homage to Buddha because how Buddha is so smart that how that Buddhist kind of philosophy that which now even in the modern world many great scientists also they are just kind of like paying lots of attention on Buddhist philosophy of the interdependent origination. So that's why that here the meaning of Vajra, Dorje, indestructible. So all the enlightened form, enlightened wisdom, or enlightened is indestructible. So since it is indestructible, so that is why it is called kind of like a permanent. That which is gone beyond permanent and impermanent, great permanent. So once at an enlightened, then that sort of the joy and happiness and peace is just everlasting, always there. And but at the same time that they never kind of like abide there, they still manifest again like a Sambhogaya form, Nirmanakaya form, and then to kind of benefit all these sentient beings. So that Pulchen Doche, or why that Vajrakilaya is called kind of Doche, Vajra Kilaya, and that Pulchen means kind of great glory. So glory from glory or victory, where he got victory or glory because he just got a complete perfection of enlightenment that just gone beyond all sorts of samsaric kind of like problems and so forth. There is no any other greater glory than such kind of kind of like enlightenment. And that deity is called, kind of Dorji Shunu. Shunu is again youthful, but here the youthful is not like a youthful like in these teenagers. Mm. These teenagers are, while they are in teenager, it looks, kind of good and have fun and nice, but it doesn't stay there. Every single moment it is going through process of change, and then it become old. And when one become old, then there is no much, kind of like a, kind of quality. So here, youth, even in the question that, which is saying, shunu, shunu, bumbeku. Shunu means, kind of youthful. This youthful is something that which, kind of like gone beyond, kind of like aging. There is no aging once one, kind of actualize this. Even though the modern science and modern companies, they try to make unaging what ointment, unwrinkle what the ointments or something, they make substance. But there is no anything that ever possible to make any kind of such, ointment. How much this science and technologies may develop, nobody can stop that getting older. Nobody can. Only this Dharma practice. Through this Dharma practice, you just, attain enlightenment. For example, Guru Pama Sambhava, kind of abiding in the copper color mountain in the this cannibal, area. He just pretend to be just get old, or about 60 years. Then they say, cannibals are very happy. Oh, now he's getting old, he will die soon. But the next morning he become a 8-year-old child. Then they're, oh no, they don't have condition to die because they transcend from this whole complete, kind of samsara. So that is, Vajravadi, where you hear all the deities are Vajravadi, Vajra speech, Vajra, kind of mind, means undestructible body, speech, mind. Our body is not like that. So, so that's what is the tradition. So if you really understand the, kind of enlightened body, speech, mind, like, kind of deity, of course you want to achieve that. So to achieve that, of course, one need to, kind of deal with it with some kind of like this. With this practice, you are going to end the suffering forever and ever and ever. So that is why many of the, kind of masters, kind of instruction that saying, if you are smart enough, if you are clever enough, if you have, intelligence enough, if you are wise enough, and this is the where you put effort, that where you can get the ultimate happiness, plus you can benefit billions and billions of sentient beings. How that, kind of Buddha has benefited, and how Buddha has, liberated, similar like, all of Ishvara and so forth, as we hear all those, kind of stories. So then this is Torti Shunu, the Vajrakilaya, how it appears blue, black, dark blue in color. And dark blue also, explaining that, like the space, kind of like blue. And that which is symbolizing the space. Dark blue color is symbolizing the space, like, kind of indestructible, or, kind of very pervasive color. Not necessarily particular has to be, kind of have to be the kind of color black in a self-characterized way. It's not self-characterized. It's on purposely with the symbolic, way, just, about them with the 3 face and 6 arms. So as in the picture, and as we have gone through during the important also, 3 face center is the, dark blue face, and right is white, and left is, red, and that the 3 face is also symbolizing the 3 kaya. 3 kaya as the, kind of enlightenment fruition, and that is symbolizing. Vajrakilaya does not have a self-characterized kind of with the kind of three head, and then six arms. Six arms are symbolizing the kind of six perfection, practice of all those generosity, practice of generosity, practice of morality, and then a practice of patience, and then the perseverance, and then a meditation, and then the wisdom. Those are the six perfections that in Sutrayana that one needs to engage into those practices to accumulate enough merit and wisdom. So here the Vajrakilaya deity is symbolizing with the kind of those six arms, the six perfections. And arms, then faces and arms, and then four legs extended in the advancing posture. Four legs, there are the practices of four miraculous legs according to the kind of Sutrayana and also in Vajrayana, the whole complete the practice of the path of five path, that from the path of accumulation all the way to no more learning path, and then the path of accumulation also divided into kind of three on the kind of what's the chain Ling Chung, great, medium, small. So in the great path of accumulation, then they practice these four miraculous leg, and that what is kind of four legs of the Vajrakilaya is symbolizing. It's not like Vajrakilaya leg is kind of very substantial and kind of truly existing, right out of kind of cause and condition, kind of like a not like that wholly. So extended in the advanced posture. So extended, and that which is to symbolize, to just kind of step to step the step to move to in the world to benefit all those kind of like a sentient being. Then his right face is white, and then the left one is red, and then the middle one is blue, that which is in kind of symbolizing Trikaya, which is white one is Dharmakaya, because kind of white. White is the basis of all color. When you have white, on that you can put any color. So like a Dharmakaya can manifest anything. And that the Dharmakaya is same like the empty space. So because of there is empty space, there are all these possibility of kind of existing of this world, like mountains and rivers and kind of lakes, and then kind of grasses, flowers, forest, people, and everything is kind of possible to have all this growing and movement, everything, including the whole complete system of civilization of where in the relative world we talk about the civilization of human being. All those possible is because the empty space allows anything to happen. Same like that, the emptiness allows to happen anything. Same like that, white color, allows to put any kind of color. That what it is symbolization of Dharmakaya, emptiness. And then the red is the kind of like a Sambhogaya, and then the center one is like the kind of the Nirmanakaya, and in that way how it is kind of everything is symbolic. The deities, kind of appearance, everything, not just only here in particular, all the deity visualization, manifestation, everything is symbolic. Where in the Lama Rinduduba, where it says, Tatun Takum Yontobe, there is a Ta, Dun, Ta. Ta is kind of like a indication. Dun is meaning. Ta is sign. So when you do the what the Rinduduba practice, there is also saying, kind of Tatun Takum Yontobe. So all everything accomplished. So all the deities, kind of appearance is just based on these three. Something that which is symbolic, something that which is the meaning, and something which is as a sign. All everything kind of like arise in that way. So that what is the three kayas, and then wearing the diadem of the five Dhyani Buddhas at his heart is this rebel womb. And then Mm, and the Buddha wearing this, this particular, kind of saying wearing the diadem of five Dhyani Buddhas. So actually, it is a skull, five skull, and the peaceful Sambhogaya deities have five crowns. It's made out of jewel. Here it is of like a kind of like skulls because most of the wrathful deities are what is called channel ground attributes. Mm. Channel ground. So channel ground is where all the dead bodies and dead body burned, kind of that ashes and so forth. So this also have a long, kind of story, in relation with the that before the, long time back, before this the bright eon, that bright eon of this, that is kind of like saying Kalpakungu, uh, all established eon, and before that about Kalpatonda Chungi, 12,000 years before that, there is a whole, kind of like a story. So this Buddha enlightened that can see, they can understand, like kind of thousand years before, how things happen. So that is a, kind of long story in a very short way. That there is a, kind of great master known as Shunu Tuka. So Tukashunu is a kind of like a very spiritual master. And then to his neighbor, there is a kind of like a rich family, kind of son is known as, kind of Tharvanabo, his name. And then he has a attendant, something like, kind of called Emba. So then they heard about this, Tokushino great master's, quality. So they both went to see him and then, asked for teaching. And so anyway, that long story. Then he kept teaching that saying, once you realize the absolute true nature of phenomena, then whatever you do in this world, there is no any karma arriving. There is no, whether you kill, whether you drink, whether you do whatever you do, there is no any karma just ever going to happen because it is all just, kind of illusion once you have that realization. So he gave that direct to Tokshin teaching. So then these two, then the, Thakur Napo, that the master, he just kind of like took it very literal. And so he just thought, he can do anything. But then the temple that who is his, kind of servant, he have the, kind of like actual understanding of that meaning, saying that if you have realization of, emptiness or the absolute nature of mind, then whatever you do, there is no any karma ever happening. So then they always have argument. They always have argument. Then the Thapanam say you are wrong, and they say no, 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 like that. Then the Thapanam was just, very arrogant because he thinks, he's the master, and then Deva is his, servant. He should not have this much under. So finally they went to see their master, took a Shunu, and then, said, oh, just we are having an argument of this, what is all about. Then, kind of the master said the truth that, oh, what is Deepak saying is true, you are wrong. Then he becomes so angry, because he has already so much arrogance. He's even just thinking, why is my master not saying, you both are, kind of okay, you're correct, but you can do something. He never said, like, you are right and you are wrong. I'm wrong. He kind of very, very partiality, and he's not just kind of good master. he has so much hatred, anger, and then he end up just doing all those kind of negative things, and then lived into the channel ground, and kind of like all the dead body, he just eat it, and then put all those ashes here, and their blood put here in Vajrakilaya. Usually have that, the ashes put here, and then blood put here, and then the fat part of the dead body put here. So we didn't do that because we thought you get so scared. So the three substances just show you a picture. Yeah? So that is how it started. This very become very negative. He fall into complete wrong view, and then he started just kind of live there, and all the dead bodies still kind of just put on like ornaments, and then kind of that way. And because of that wrong view, when he died, he born in hell realm, and then from that suffered for a long time, and then born as a hungry ghost being, and then finally just like born again, just kind of human being, but very negative. And then he also is kind of funny, where once you fall into very negative side, your whole negative side become very powerful and very leading, and also seems like you become very successful in that wrong side. Oh, so that is why he become very powerful with all those kind of ornament, and very very scary appearance. And then the humans skin they wear, and elephant skin they wear, and tiger skin wear as lower garment, and it kind of appears so scary. So that is why Bhattacharya also have to manifest on purposely like that, that first kind of the all the Buddhas, and they even just have to have meeting. Oh wow, now this Tharva Namu become very, very, very scary devil, and causing so much problem with kind of sending. We must have to do something, and then that all should transform into what is called High Giva, the wrathful deity, and then kind of to do all sorts of kind of manifestation to subdue him. Whatsoever he have, the deities they appear much more greater and much more heads and much more hand emblems and so forth. So that way kind of subdue, and finally in one way become fortunate, he got liberated. Oh, so that is how this kind of wrathful deity kind of just all these explanations are happening. So uh, these kind of like a mind, our mind, if we don't know how to follow the right path, and if we don't understand the right view, you know, it is it is very possible to go into wrong side very negatively, very very scary, and then one have to be born in hell realm for a long time. So once one experience that result, then one regret, but it is too late. So that is why saying, if we are smart enough, this is the time, this is the opportunity when oneself is born as a precious human form, where we have all those conditions. So that is the five skulls, and that what is explaining about it, middle one, Buddha. And then kind of that in the Bhattacharya that which appears, and then in the Bhattacharya's heart, as explained yesterday, kind of there is the whom seeds level. Mm. And whom seeds level is the kind of level of all the kind of Buddhas to emerge or manifest. Then the butterfly has kind of what's a three head which has nine eyes are bulging and glaring in the 10 direction. So nine eyes that which is symbolizing of the kind of like the nine yanas, and that kind of transcending through that, and then eyes looking into all direction, and then just like where to kind of take care of beings and to where these negative forces are coming, that which is causing problem and suffering to all these beings. And so with that and mouth gaping, tongue rolling and fangs beard. So kind of his mouth open gaping with a kind of scary kind of appearance, and then a tongue rolling up that way. All the kind of wrathful or those kind of beings, and then of course kind of very very wrathful appearance, kind of like fangs. So those are all in a kind of like a symbolic way. There is no kind of a entity like a demon that which is causing so much kind of problem. So thanks, and then in his two right hands hold that a nine branch, which is kind of like a actualizing of the nine yanas, and five branch, which is the symbolic of the five wisdoms. And then the two left hands hold a mass of fire, which is symbolizing the wisdom fire, that which burns all sorts of samsaric five aggregates, obscurations, and negative forces. And then a Katanga, which is called Trishul, that which has three pointed, which is Trishul is same like in Hinduism that Shankar Bhagwan, one of the Hindu god, also hold a Trishul. So here that this is Trishul, the three pointed symbolizing to pierce through the three poisons. Three poison, three poison is also within all sentient beings that we have been talking about yesterday and before. Those three poisons, that which to pierce through to purify, and then to do rumjik channel for the final two arms, final last two arms holding a Mount Miru Purba, that Purba, that kind of yesterday, the substance Purba, and that substance Purba is symbolic of the kind of the whole complete appearance of the deity, and that which is kind of the way of doing this practice where you roll and then chant Vajrakilaya thought and found that wherever they need to be kind of purified or subjugate or kind of tame, that do that, for example, there is a very good example in Tibet, Tibetan in the 8th century, kind of devil king called Lang Dharma, who has a little bit form and very negative. He just destroyed almost the Sutrayana. So she just go from place to place and temple to temple and let them not stay as a monk, and she just get married and just work in the field so forth. Then there is Nup Sangye Yishe, that who is a Vajrayana practitioner, and he always hold this purba like in his lots of these football yogi, football ninja, they carry those first they practice and establish and have some blessing, and then they carry. So when this Lama came to them, they said, "What you are doing?" No, no, I'm doing practice. What practice? I'm doing this bhajana and Vajrakilaya. What is that in government? Can you show anything? Do you have anything? Yeah, yes, that is that. No, just show me. No, 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 sir, that, no, king, that, I cannot do this. It can be very dangerous. No, what dangerous? You don't know anything. Blah, 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 blah. So then, if you insist me, I'll do. And then, kind of where he's sitting this side, on the other side, there is a mountain and rock. Then, if you really want to see, then he took out his footpath. And then he rolled in chant Om the Kilikila open the bottom, which are moved in, kind of it is like a baba, that all other side, these rocks are almost like a what's a this what's a make what's a make mm, no, that there is some kind of substance you make hole in the rock and put, and then it blasts. Mag, magnetize, no. Uh, yeah, something like a dynamite. just same like that. Once he do that, this whole rock just blast and just scattered, and then the Landablan get scared. Okay, 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 stop, stop. You can get your practice. And that is how Vajrayana could not be destroyed. But then the Patimoksha, the monks and nuns and all this for while for in the central Tibet, it is almost diminished, and then that went to kind of like eastern part, come and then from come slowly, come back, and that is how this um, Atisha, Atisha from the Nalanda University have to kind of invite to Tibet. So like that, once you want to do, kind of those practice accomplish, then that much, power can, kind of like one can. So to rolling Bupa Manmiru. Manmiru is kind of smalling of the, just very huge, So wearing the complete terrifying channel ground account atonement. So that is what explained earlier. In the channel ground, they wear all these kind of dead bodies, kind of like skin and so forth. So terrifying channel grounds attributes or that kind of like ornament. So he's in union with the great consort, Kolo Gender. So then this male aspect of Vajrakilaya is in union with the Kolo Gender is the name of the Dakini, that is the consort, and that which are in union. The Kolo Gender kind of like it appears light blue in color with one face and two arms, and her right hand holding a kind of blue lotus. Blue lotus is also known as Utpala, that is very, very rare to find in this earth. Only when there are enlightened beings happening, then such kind of like a flower, Utpala flower can bloom. So that holding Upala, holding blue lotus and embrace the male consort with the neck and then holding in that. And her left offers a skull cup to his mouth. So left hand holding a skull cup filled up with the kind of relatively saying it is filled up with the blood, but actually it is full of the wisdom cup with the kind of like a nectar. So here that is particularly in Tibetan kind of yap yum, like a male and female aspect in union, which is also here is not a self-characterized kind of form of male and kind of female in union. But this is again same thing explanation of the symbolic, all the deity appearance, everything is symbolizing something. So the female is symbolizing the emptiness, like Prachana Parmita, Prachana Parmita goddess, or the female aspect of deity. That is kind of like emptiness. Kundu Sano, the Buddha summoned the battery. That is the kind of emptiness. And so then a male aspect of the deity is the kind of like the appearance. So in this world and in the Buddha field, there is some appearance in union or inseparable nature as emptiness. Mm. So that is why all this, as we have gone through a little bit explanation yesterday, whatsoever it is appearing is their nature is emptiness. So that where Nagarjuna also saying, Puram Rashing or the May Rajata, Tishin Channel Tamji, Ranchu Tamba Yidne. The sugar's nature is always sweet. So why that sugar has to be sweet? We have no explanation. Why sugar is sweet? So sugar is sweet is because it's nature. There cannot find a sugar which is not sweet. Impossible. Oh, same like that. The fire is hot. Why fire has to be hot? From the very beginning of the civilization, before they find fire, and whenever they find fire, just rocking this stone and wood, and they find fire, it's hot. On Buddha's time, fire is hot. Oh, then now still fire is hot. How much kind of technologies may develop, it is hot. Mm. So the hot is the nature of the fire. So same like that, all these phenomena, nature is kind of like emptiness. Don't you know? Emptiness is done. He is saying it is all everything is not emptiness. There is a time moving on. Time is not emptiness. So like that, the all phenomena is emptiness. Same like that, the deities, kind of this appearance is also emptiness in nature. So if it is emptiness, then it stop here. Mm.
So we'll do this dedication, page 176, or I think 173.
Shanti Tamje Sevani Tamne Nipe Nam Tamje Shi Chega Nanchi Oron Rupai Sige Zole Doa Doa Shu Rinje Gito Dien Doa Kim Tadu Tambe Chutam Mitrashi Tamje Beni Gopa Nanjine Chuma Rupe Jiten Zebashu Sanje Yamba Dashin Jebashu Sanje Namje Deshin Jebashu Nindam Saido Shula Jebashu